is my epoch. Hey, Jeremy, how are you? You might actually catch a live stream, huh? All right. Oh, a squirrel. That's funny. That's funny. So, for those of you who are new to the channel and have not did not follow me when I first got on trail, which would have been about 10 months ago, Um, I caught the Florida Trail at White Springs, which is just outside of Lake City, which is why we went to Lake City to begin with. We are actually at the first campsite that I camped at when I first got here, and my tent had gotten stolen, so I was sleeping on the ground. Now, if you see, there's the dog, and there is my hammock, all geared up and ready to go for tonight. I know this part of the trail now, so I kind of know where I want to go and where I want to avoid, and um, I'm trying to kind of figure out where it is that I go moving forward, because I'm kind of like at a crossroads, and I need to shit or get off the pot on one of those. But before we get into all that, I want to get into the topic of today, which is, America's falling apart. Is this the end of America? Okay. I mean, uh, here's I follow Billy Meyer. For those of you who are new to the channel, one of the predictions that I held to was after 2020, the superpower USA will no longer exist. So we will no longer exist as a superpower, and it's funny because the whole thing that happened around the election with January 6th, and then what had happened leading up to it with the pandemic. I mean, that alone kind of brought America to its knees, because we all went nuts because we didn't know what the hell to do. A modern society, how do you deal with an ancient disease? And it's just, we've watched the supply chain go down. We've watched hostilities increase across the world. We are watching, NATO's getting its butt kicked in Ukraine, and apparently Israel's getting its butt kicked in Israel. These are things that I'm just coming across, and who knows what the truth is, because right now there's no such thing as truth. And when there is no such thing as truth, what do you rely on? You rely on what you can see, what you know, what you hear. And hey, what's up, Cherokee? You learn all these different things. And one of the things that I noticed, because Gainesville was my base, as far as kind of like what it is. What can I compare it to? So I was here last year, and then I was there this year. And this year, I noticed, okay, so everybody got kicked out of the forest, but they all went into the state forest, and so now they're on state lands, which they can, if they don't keep moving at least every 15 days and moving at least a few feet, then they're liable to go through that whole rigmarole. And I mean, it's just like it's crazy. And so I even, because I went and I bought a tarp and some paracord, and I even bought myself a nice little knife. It was on sale it was an Ozark Trail. And what sucks about that knife that comes with the flint is that the flint fell out the first night, and I've never been able to find it since. I've been digging through my bag in case I may have accidentally dumped it in there, but it's not there. But it's just, I'm watching the world fall apart, and it's happening at such a slow speed. It kind of becomes the boiling frog effect. Tomorrow's extreme, or today's extreme, is tomorrow's normal. That's what we're seeing. The supply chain is being disrupted. You disrupt the supply chain because we're just in time. We don't manufacture any of our own goods. We rely on shipping from overseas. Now all of a sudden these retail stores don't have product to sell, and then that means that they can't hire people, and that's just going to create a domino effect. And you're watching the slow implosion of America from without and from within. And then, to really kind of drive it home for me, I had the privilege to see the Obama movie, was it Leave Tomorrow Behind or something like that? And I'm telling you, I've been saying this since 2020, and it's like it hit on so many points that I've kind of been hinting around or talking about, with the kind of with the cyber attack. But the thing is the whole point of the cyber attack was to cause services to go down, so we would turn on each other, and so therefore we would implode from within. Well, that is Hollywood. Hollywood has a tendency to tell us what has been, what is, and what will be. When you can't trust your news people, then you've got to go to your storytellers. I forget. There's a big talking head that used to say that about 15 years ago, and it's there's a lot of truth to it. And it's like, what road are we going to go down? Are we going to go down the road of Hunger Games? Are we going to go down the road of Divergent? Are we going to go down the road of Maze Runner? I mean, if I remember right, Maze Runner was about it was a bug that took everything out. With the state of the beard, you're starting to look homeless. Oh, well, that's good. I like my beard. You know what? I grew it out when I was on trail, and it bugged me that I cut it down, and I want to get it back. And so I'm hoping to get a nice long beard. I'd like to have I want that to be my staple. But as far as the way that society is going, and watching the slow degradation of these cities, and it just gets more and more open, because here's and this makes more sense the more I think about it, the more that because somebody had told me, somebody that I trust, when they tell me something, told me that they're going to be rounding the homeless up, and they're going to be putting them in camps, and they're going to get tired of the homeless situation. And I'm starting to see that cities are starting to get tired of the homeless situation. It is getting to a point where there are certain places you go where you used to go and it used to be okay, to where it's just slowly expanding. So homelessness is silently expanding because nobody wants to talk about it. With all the rent that's going up, and there's all different kinds of homeless that you have out there. And those homeless are anywhere from car dwellers to trail guys, to rails, as hobos, home bums. Some are couch surfers. And there's the last time they did a study to find out how many homeless that they could find, they found, I think, somewhere around 1 to 2 million. Right now, I think that we're probably sitting around 5 to 6 million homeless right now. But the thing is we don't know it, because there's thousands of cities across America, and it's a couple here, a couple there, a few more here. All of a sudden there was 7 homeless in your city. Now you have 12. And add that up, compound that times thousands of cities that are across America, and that's kind of why you don't see it until it's like all of a sudden you see 25, 30 people coming out a day. And we're probably going to be seeing that if the supply chain continues to get disrupted, because it's going to cause economic mayhem. Things are going to go through the roof because it's going to be hard to get them in from China. Because we're looking at going to war with China, in the next 2 years. It might actually happen in the next year or this year. Who knows? Things are escalating so much, especially with what's going on over in Israel, and that's going to end up being a long-term conflict. There are already people coming out and that are talking about it being a long-term conflict. And America getting involved in multi-front wars and having a woke military. It just, what is it? Hard times make tough men make good times, good times make weak men make tough times. And we're kind of in that whole. In that last stage, is that weak men are about to create tough times, because we've had it good for so long that we forgot what it was like to have to struggle, like our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents, depending upon how old we are. Because I know a large percentage of you are like at least 5 to 10 years older than me, as far as the demographics that I go. So I mean, just think about that. There's tampon dispensers in the men's wash. Holy cow, really? That's just crazy. I mean, tampon dispensers, what are you going to do? Put it up your booty hole? I mean, come on. Hey, you know what? If you got the shits, that's one way to do it. You know, sorry, I couldn't leave that one alone. But anyways, that's kind of just my take on what's going on. And it's after seeing the movie, it's kind of like, okay, I understand what the end game is now, and I kind of already understood it, but I didn't understand it in such a level that uh, that that I do now, I guess, because it has way more meaning. I mean, it was released um, like 2-3 months ago, and a lot's changed in 2 or 3 months. Okay, and it's just to this is something, you know. So what is it that Sam and I can do? How do you survive the apocalypse when you're in a situation that I'm in? It's not the apocalypse. It's not the end of the world. It's just a changing of the guard, and yeah, it just the same old typical stuff. Yes, I did like the Obama movie. Israel is getting its butt kicked in Israel. Yes. Yeah, that's actually funny, Marcus. And yes, I did. That's actually what I'm talking about. Is yeah, I loved the movie. I thought that the cinematography was good. So think of it from a business standpoint instead of a political standpoint. From a business standpoint, you need to have a box office hit. And if you're going to do a new startup and you want to be able to do philanthropic work like what Obama wants to do, well then you've got to have some box office hits, and that is definitely a box office hit. And I look forward to seeing more of what's coming, because in a way, whether or not he's trying to tell us whether something is coming or warn us or something like that, the fact is we've had many people way before him warn us of the same thing that's coming. He just took it and put it in more of a cinematic way, okay, to where it was able to be relatable, so that you'd see it based upon the time and all that different stuff. So Sam, hold on, I lost track of the dog. Sam, oi, Sam. She'll come around. She always does. But anyways, guys, that's yeah. I loved that movie. So I thought it was great. I thought it was well done, and I look forward to seeing more movies, because oh, there she is. Okay, so she's right there. So anyways, just kind of that's my take on it. I think that from a business standpoint, what he did was great, and he made a right choice, and it was something that was kind of relevant to the times. And so yeah, I'm not gonna fault him for it. Let's get out of the politics and just see what it is that he actually has to say. And you can put your slant on it however you want, but it is what it is. Okay, so what I was talking about in the beginning is, with everything that's going on, what is it that me and Sam, how are we going to survive this whole apocalypse thing? What is it we are going to do that will allow us the best chance of survival? Well, I've been saying that we're going to head west. I want to ride rails, but the thing is, like, in Lake City, that's all that's rocks and chemicals, and there's not going to be anything for us to ride through unless we catch on, like, unless there's something else that's coming out of Jacksonville or something like that. And so I just, instead of playing that game of cat and mouse, maybe being there for a week or two to find a train, if we're gonna find a train, we're gonna find it out of Pensacola, either that or Mobile. Those are two places where I know that we will have the best luck to catch a train the way that we want to catch a train. Okay, so what is that? What do we do in the meantime? And where is it that we're going? One of the things I want to be able to do. Hey, Amethyst, nice to see you. One of the things that I want to do is I want to get to a point where Sam and I can live completely off grid. And so that means because one thing I'm learning with her is that I can walk her about 10 to 12 miles in a day, and I can walk her like that for 5-6 days in a row, and she's fine without a day off. If I start trying to push her over that 12-mile mark or over that 10-mile mark, She is like, yeah, she's unruly. She has issues. She doesn't like it, and it becomes an issue. So, as far as Sam and I go, I'm gonna have a lot more downtime coming over the next couple of months as we migrate west. Now, the other thing is being on trail, it's much harder to raise money than being in the cities. But the cities are getting to a point where you just want to come into the outskirts, pop in for a second, and go. Well, it's a long distance with a dog to go between big enough cities to where you can fly a sign and actually make makes enough money to be able to get you going on trail. So maybe once every 10 to 15 days, you're going to come across one of those cities on the Florida Trail. And you also got to be careful because some of these cities may not like you flying a sign, and I really don't want to make the hiker community look bad, but also at the same time, Sam and I got to survive. Either that, or we can double our way back to Lake City. So stay here tomorrow, hang out, and then the next day we get up, we go towards Lake City, and then there's a lake that I want to let her play in on the way back to Lake City, and we'll have enough, because I have enough money for one more resupply. And so, we're gonna eat well over the next couple of days, and then I'm gonna resupply, okay. And so, do I stay there until the 21st and then just pay to go to Pensacola and then just keep flying a sign that way? Or do I take the risk and say, you know what? Because the one thing that the trail showed me that you forget about in the daily grind of life is that there is a lot of kindness out here. There is a lot of people that will see a person in need, and they will help them in one form or fashion, and it always works out. So I could also just say, hey, look, we're just gonna go. I got $20 left in my pocket to buy one more resupply. I've got enough food for her for probably about 7 days now, maybe 8. And maybe you might see some shorts come up where I'm like, hey guys, we're in a resupply point. If you can help me with anything, I may ask for that, okay, through my tip jar or something like that. Those are my options, but I'm not exactly sure which way to go, because each way is gonna, on one end, if I want to just say screw it and just go down trail, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck so bad. There's gonna be some great parts about it, but it's gonna suck. We're gonna skip certain parts, like we're gonna skip St. Mark's. We might go into Tallahassee to get food stamps if we go that route, and so maybe for a couple of weeks we have to rely on maybe the kindness of others. I don't know. And then from there we get back on trail, but we're gonna skip the Apalachachua National Forest, and we'll probably go through Eglin this year and make our way to Pensacola that way, and just kind of like slowly migrate, so that by the time we get there, it'll be like late February. And by late February, it'll be nice enough to be able to go to, let's say, somewhere like New Mexico. And from New Mexico, I want to be able to get up into the Rockies along a river in BLM land, so that I can, Sam and I, what we're going to end up doing is creating several camps to kind of migrate between. That way we can kind of feed ourselves and stay off grid. So maybe thinking about something like growing a crop and then coming back to it maybe 2 months later, things like that. Doing setting traps and then just kind of resupplying the traps every so often, but make them several miles apart but near water. And it's just that's kind of where we're going. Is I really want to get to a point where I got to be close enough to a city to be able to go in and I need to be able to be close to signal so that I can keep uploading videos. Good. Hope everything works out for you and Sam. I'm from New Mexico. Okay, Amethyst. Because I think we're gonna go up the Rockies through New Mexico. So that's kind of what my thought is to do something like that. And if we make it by March, then we should be in good standing. to be able to make it up there, find a place, and put some seeds in the ground. But the thing is, also another thing that I will have to do is I'll have to get trackers. That way I know, like, I can leave it to where it can be found and by me, and to be able to go between each of these sites so I know exactly where they're at. But on BLM land, you can only stay there for 15 days and then you got to move on. But if I leave crops behind, if I leave like a little bit of planted vegetables and stuff like that, then then they can't really do anything to me for that, because I'm just going to come back and harvest it anyways. And I could slowly create like my own little gardens clear between my multiple camps. I think maybe start off with 3, and if one of them gets overran by vagrants or other types of people, when the whole world really does come crumbling down, well, I still have 2 other camps that I can go to, and I can just create a third one and redirect it away from where all the traffic and the dumb shit is. So, I mean, that's kind of the I think that's going to be our plan, because, I mean, if the whole world turns on itself, including American turns on America, I don't want to be in that fight. I don't. There's doing secret garden also. Yeah, Gannon, that, yeah. The feds are coming after you for growing and doing your own stuff. I mean, we're hearing about the Amish farmer. Yeah, I think that the election may end up being the tipping point, because we thought we were going to have a civil war after January 6th. And I think that if with what's going on with the dividing of all the different states between each other, you're seeing the early onset of a civil war. When these states, when you got one state that's going to take Biden off and another state that's going to take Trump off, it's okay if they take Biden off, but it's not okay if they take Trump off. You know what I mean? It's the hypocrisy, and the fact is it's become so political that we can't actually have a decent conversation amongst ourselves and just be able to share like our different ways of being able to accomplish something. Is 300 camping in New Mexico is 300 a year. You get power, water, showers. Awesome deal. Huh? I may have to check that out. 300 a year. That's not bad. So, but I really think that the things are just, they're right on the tipping point. And this is all part of 5th generation warfare. 5th generation warfare is to use our social media, all of our news sources, everywhere. It is the creation of misinformation. So not only does our government stop the creation of the misinformation from these other sources, which is what they're supposed to do, but then they're giving us things that we probably I don't know. Maybe we are misinterpreting it. Maybe we're misunderstanding it. But it seems like we can't even get the truth from any source, including our government. I mean, it's a democratic state. You get food stamps, I think, the first 24 hours if you say you're homeless. I'm not sure. Yeah, Amethyst, they changed the whole food stamp thing. Some city guy on Canadian Prepper said that the grid down might not be what we think. Our system could be override. Possibly. I mean, that is something that could happen. Not exactly. I mean, there's so many. Anything that can happen will happen. You just got to give it enough time, and it's just a matter of at what point. Okay, it's just like a chess game. In a chess game, at first you start light, and then you kind of like you're kind of testing their knowledge, knowing where, like, how they move, and being able to set up a defense that is as proper for the style of player that the other is doing. And while you're doing that, the other person is learning, and so it will just continuously escalate until finally there's no other options left but like nuclear, chemical, and biological after we've destroyed ourselves. So I mean, there's I see it in a different way, just because I've kind of following the Meyer stuff. I kind of knew a lot of this stuff was coming. I just didn't know how, but the stuff in which he's talked about has come about, and it just, I don't know. It, it's just a different. That it's getting it's getting to a point where he says it's like there's no point. There's a point of no return. I mean, we already know. I already know that there's 2 civil wars coming, one back to back. The rebels will lose the first one, and the second one will be what splits the United States into 5 different countries. The United States is no longer. The United States is just it's in its downward spiral to where it's going to inevitably end up. And through the civil wars, and with the West losing the World War, you will have Chinese and Russian troops on our soil as peacekeepers. So Billy Meyer, Meier. You can also go to a channel called MeyerBooks.com or Billy Meyer Books. He's a YouTube guy here. But anyways, you should elaborate further on the 2-part. I've talked about it before in some of my older videos of having a second civil war. We're on the verge of we've been on the verge of it since. At least I would say that the coals started burning around 2008. The coals started burning around 2008. They really got flamed around like 2012 or so with that election. And that's in about 2009 is when the Free Man movement started. And about 2013, that's when the Free Man movement was stamped out, because there was enough obstacles put in our way to where to do some of the cool things that we could do, you can't do them anymore, or they've made it so hard that one slight misstep and you're off to Gitmo. Okay, so it's gotten to a point where the cost benefits it's not worth it. Okay, at least the smart ones decided, nah, I don't want to do that anymore. But we have been kind of in that downward spiral, and I think 2016 was kind of like the final straw, where we're just tired of the dumb stuff that was going on. And that's why Trump got elected, because everybody decided to go against the establishment, because the establishment wasn't there to benefit the people anymore. When everybody's benefiting from it, nobody cares. Everybody looks the other way, until finally you get to a point where less than a majority are benefiting from the current system. And then that's where you have the point in time where people turn against the system, and the system eats itself. So as long as the system is functional, everybody goes along to get along, they'll turn a blind eye. 2016 was when that blind eye stopped being, really, really out there. And if you've watched how they have taken with the whole Trump thing, how they have, systematically gone after him, doing everything they can to prevent him from running again. Why? What did he do? Thank you, Natural Human. What did he do that was so bad that that he would would get that much legal action taken against him? It makes no sense. Okay, it just makes no sense. So we've been on the verge of one. We're maybe in the middle of one already, and we just don't know it because there's no guns ablazing. But out of both civil wars, at least one of them will be a guns a toting. We'll just say it that way. Okay, so one of them may be a peaceful civil war, and that's kind of what we're seeing going against Trump, and since 2020. And it's not really whether or not you like or dislike Trump, it's the fact that you have an opposition party doing everything they can to determine your choice for you, instead of just being the better choice. I bet homeless could be employed as watchmen. The homeless will be natural at first. And yes and no, because you got to realize we're dependent on the kindness of others. I mean, look, you have a cell phone, and now one day they're gonna say, hey, if you just put this chip in you, because they already did it in like Sweden, if you put this chip in you can pay for everything, you do all this, it all of a sudden becomes convenience. You and me, we're old enough to know the difference, but the younger generation, 30 and younger, 35 and younger, they wouldn't know the first thing of how to live without a cell phone. You know, and we who are even, you know, 40 and older, you know, we have gotten dependent on a cell phone so damn much that that it just, how do you live without a cell phone? How do you navigate around? Now I've learned how to navigate myself around, and like if I can get to a map, I can figure my way around, you know. But most people, they wouldn't even know where to get a map. They're like, paper maps, what are those? You know what I mean? So uh, just it's the younger generation that's really gonna face the brunt of what's going on. And honestly, that's kind of what that whole Obama movie really showed as well. It's just the differences between the generations. You got a guy who's I noticed some homeless could be loyal on a daily basis if paid daily as well. Um, Look, as long as he can get what it is that he wants, okay, as long as you know, if his thing is he wants a beer every night and you don't mind that he shows up drunk to sit around on the corner and watch, man, yeah, the guy will be loyal. But if you expect him to show up sober, if you expect him to, you know, kind of get his shit together, that may not happen. If you want a loyal homeless, you got to find somebody that you got to be able to accept their uh, whatever it is that they do. And at that point in time, if you're okay that they show up drunk or show up stoned or show up whatever, fine. Yeah, go ahead, show up stoned, sit back, smoke a bowl. I don't care. Just make sure you watch it, and I'll pay you at the end of the day. You bet your ass they'll be loyal. Because, you know, the thing is you better also be paying them enough, because one of the things you'll hear a lot out here is, well, you know, I ain't getting paid enough to risk my life for that. So, I mean, if you want them to stand there and fight for it, you better be willing to pay for it as well. And part of that is just letting them do what it is that they want to do, because they're going to do it anyways. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on if you want to do if you want to employ the homeless thing. But you can download all of Wikipedia onto a flash drive, SD card, or even an old phone and put it into a Faraday bag, cheap, free to have access. That might not be a bad idea, Jeremy. The thing is I can't really go into a computer with her unless I either have someone watch her, or I can get like a study room that has a computer in it. That's been my biggest problem, because I really want to get, I really want to get that chest cam. So it's okay. Let me tell you something that I want, and hopefully maybe one of you guys might go, oh cool, I'll fund that. Okay, so I looked online. I looked online with Walmart to see what it is that they had as far as action cams. I saw one for $45. I think it does 4K. It's $45. It's an off-brand, okay, and it's like $12 for the chest harness so that I can do it. Now I think I have my own card, or I could probably even buy a card, but for like $60, I could get an action cam. And here's the benefit of it, is that I can actually just kind of turn on the cam and do it through my phone, instead of having to flip through my phone and do all this other stuff just to pull up a camera. I could keep that going and start and stop the camera when I come to nice spots, instead of having to remember to pull out my camera, because on a phone, that's kind of one of the obstacles that I run into. So and then what I will end up doing is just voiceovers to me going through trail and some of the nice places that I see. But with the money, so apparently I'm getting paid a second month in a row from YouTube. So guys, thank you for keep watching my videos. That's helping me get paid every time you watch one of those ads. And so what I want to do, that I got to pay the $40 for Sam's booster, because I don't want lipo. I don't know what it is, but it sounds bad. So I got to pay for her booster, but I don't know what it's either going to go towards food, or it's going to get us to Pensacola. That's going to be what that money is used for this month. So I would like to be able to get an action cam, but unless I can get something else going, it's gonna be a while. But I think honestly, guys, if you really want to keep on this journey with me, like get really into this journey with me, that might be something that that you guys might want to think about. Either that, or come on over to Patreon. Okay, Patreon, $5 a month, you get behind the scenes. $10 a month, you get behind the scenes, and you get hobo tutorials. And so I get to show you some of the cool things that I do around here. If I can get like another 5 to 7 new subscribers before the end of the month, I could actually afford it before the end of the month. But that would be if I got like another 5 to 7 subscribers to be able to do something like that. If I can, those are two ways in which I can do it. Either somebody can, I'm gonna put up a wish list here soon, because I finally got it figured out. I just haven't had time. I'm gonna put up a wish list here and for Walmart, and so that way, if one of you guys wants to do it, go for it. Great, fantastic, wonderful. But if you don't, that's fine too. Just come on over to Patreon, and then I'll eventually be using that money to buy the damn thing anyways, because honestly I think it will improve a lot of this, because I mean, wouldn't you like to be able to watch the whole trail and just kind of I could show it in like fast speed so that you get the visuals, or I could show it in slow speed. I don't know. Anyways, it's something that once I saw it, I'm like, damn, I want that. I want that really bad. Okay, do any of you guys have any questions? So we're with another camera, will that do in your power situation? Will you have sufficient charging areas on trail? Jeremy, yes, actually, I do, because every 3 days you come across a city, and that's the nice thing about being on trail, is that they're used to you stopping by a gas station and plugging in. I got my power block. I gave away my small power block. I gave away my small power block to Puckett when I ran into Puckett, because I just wanted to have one, because it's hard enough, you know, I can only get like access to 2 plugs at a time. And so yeah, the power block can charge this phone once and charge a secondary device if I have USB, if I need it that way, or it may take batteries, I'm not sure. Either way, I can always figure out ways to rummage up money for batteries. That's usually a couple bucks. You know, it's not like $60 to go buy a new battery. You know what I mean? But I don't exactly know the full details on it. I will look into it more. But yeah, I could definitely charge it on trail. Like I said, about every 3 days I come across a new a city, and the next city I'm gonna come across is the one with the painted bridge. Yeah, and then I get to walk into a gas station where I can where I can plug in and you know, get my stuff charged up. So that's going to be the next time I get to charge. But yeah, definitely, it's a couple days. It's a couple days down the road to be able to do something like that. But if I'm gonna do something like that, though, I would have to double back to Lake City, because it will be otherwise it will be I don't know, maybe a week, 10 days before I get to a big enough city with a Walmart. So you know, that's the thing, is like, there's not a lot of big cities out here on trail. You're going through small cities, and you are part of their economy. So when you go in there and you spend money, you're helping those small cities stay alive. So that's kind of what the trail brings to everybody else. So you know, that's just one thing. But anyways, guys, do you guys have any more questions before? Okay, is there tarantulas? I don't know about here, but I know that there are tarantulas. They do exist. I know they're up in the Northwest, because my grandfather almost got bit by one, and brown recluses are big up there too. No, what you got to worry about here are snakes and alligators, crocodiles, ticks, mosquitoes. That's really what you got to worry about in Florida. But yeah, I've actually, if you look over here, where did I put it? Okay, well, no, it's right there. Yeah, so there should be, yeah, my clothes are hanging right there. I actually, as soon as I got into camp, I decided to do laundry, because I need a new pair of clothes, and proper clothes to wear, because this stuff here, it was meant for more like city dwelling. The stuff that I'm drying out right now is meant more for trail, because it's quick dry. So because I'm even like there's, with the rain that's been going on, and North Florida has been hit with a lot of rain this year. There's going to be a lot of puddles that I'm gonna have to go through, and so I'm gonna have to go through them. My shoes are geared for it, but I also got to get me a pair of trail runners if I'm gonna continue walking. I think I might end up using part of my YouTube payout for that. So anyways, guys, if you guys have no more questions, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna close up so that I can save my battery and get a charge on. So anyways, you guys know how to help the channel. Like, subscribe. Likes are free, subscribes are free. Hit that bell notification. Keep watching my videos. Come on over to Patreon, leave a tip down in my tip jar. Make sure it's if you're hold on, make sure it's if you ate in dire problems. If you're, oh yes, that's actually, yeah, when I get to a point where if I need to be able to raise some money for food, yeah, I'm gonna throw up a YouTube short. That's what I did last year. That's what I'm gonna have to do this year. And you know, hopefully I got signal and battery and all that stuff. But yeah, that's something that I will definitely be doing. Yes, I will be safe. You be safe too. Stay warm, stay dry, stay happy. The world, it may be coming to an end, but you should at least have a smile on your face while it's happening. See you guys in the next live stream and the next videos I do.